Hey YouTube, Bella here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I learned from the book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. So if you are alive right now, you've probably heard about this book. It's based on the Japanese art of decluttering and organizing by Marie Kondo, and there's actually a Netflix special on it called Tidying Up. So you think it's pretty simple, it's going to be about cleaning your house, getting rid of things, spring cleaning, etc. But for me, it was much more about what do I need to discard from my life? What is causing me stress? What are the things that can be removed? So I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, but this is just 10 takeaways that I got from the book personally. Now, I do live by myself. Well, I have 2 dogs if you would like to count them, but they don't come with a lot of worldly possessions. So everything that I have here is mine. So I had to take full responsibility for getting rid of all the things that I got rid of. And I will just say that I got rid of probably 2/3 of my worldly possessions and for sure 2/3 of my clothing. And I just decided to only keep things that I really loved. So the first thing that I learned is that the location of your things can cause you a lot of stress. The biggest thing for me was that I had my desk space and my workspace. Basically, my whole office was in my bedroom. And looking back, I'm like, why did you think that was a good idea? Basically, I had my bed, and then I had right beside it my workspace, a board with all the things that I needed to do on it. And so I would literally get into bed and look at my list for the next day and just feel like the stress. So there was no separation of work and me as a human being. So definitely being more mindful about where you keep certain things, I think, is very, very important. For example, if you are trying to cut back on snacking, you don't put your snacks on top of the microwave or on the kitchen counter. You would want to put them away in a cupboard somewhere where you can't really see them. So the second thing that I learned is that it is easier to decide what to keep rather than to decide what to get rid of, meaning that you don't get everything, you don't get to your closet and say, okay, I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of this, get rid of this. You take everything out and you put it all in one space. So every piece of clothing from your whole house, and you dump it all in one space, and then you decide manually what to keep instead of what to get rid of. When you decide what to keep, you're telling yourself that this item has a purpose in your life and that this item is valuable. So it's just easier for me to see it in the reverse way of deciding what to keep. Number 3 is that you have a deep sense of intuition for what is valuable to you and what you really need to keep. There were some things that I kind of had a second thought, should I get rid of this or should I keep it? But I got rid of it anyways, and I actually took a picture of a couple of things, and I said, well, I'll have the picture to remind me about this in case, I ever want to look back on it, because it was really hard for me to let go, but I knew that I didn't need it anymore, and I knew I wasn't using it, and I knew I didn't even look at it. I was simply owning it, and the sake of owning things just for owning them is kind of silly. But you do have a deep sense of intuition of what you need to keep. For example, if you have had a breakup and it was 5 years ago and you've moved on, you don't need to keep the things that are associated with that breakup. You don't want to bring that into your future life. That is your past life. And so I think it's good to kind of realize that you have something inside of you that is going to tell you what you need to keep. Number 4 is that it's okay to get rid of something that you are still using periodically. That was a weird one for me because there were some things that I was getting rid of and I was like, I think I still use this. But I was like, I don't really even like it. I don't really want it, especially relevant for clothes or gadgets, just things that we've accumulated along the life, and we might have even gotten it as a gift. And so if you get something as a gift, you didn't necessarily pick it out. So, it's okay to get rid of something even if you do use it. You're not being wasteful. You're just eliminating extra stress from your life. Number 5 is that you don't need 2 of everything. So I am really bad about this. Like, I just went and bought pens, and I'm very guilty because I didn't buy one nice pen. Like, I bought 4 pens. Why did I need this many pens? I don't know. But the point is that you don't need 2 mixing bowls. You don't need 2 serving trays. Just pick your favorite of keep the 2 that you have or the 5 or 6 that you have. Maybe keep 1 or 2, but you really just shouldn't keep a whole lot of extras. This also goes for cords to things that you don't know what they're even from. It goes to, for example, if you get a new one of something, you don't need to keep the old one. You need to get rid of the old one, because why would you have bought a new one if you still like the old one? So my point is that we don't need to keep 2 of everything. Number 6 is that electronically storing your papers makes your life so much easier. And I actually have sort of dedicated every couple of, really once a week, I look at all my receipts and expenses and I categorize them in an Excel spreadsheet, and then I get rid of all the receipts. So this also is relevant to paperwork and things like manuals. You don't need the manual from your vacuum cleaner. If you're gonna need to look up how to fix your vacuum, guess what you're gonna do? You're probably gonna go to YouTube, because that's where you are right now. So you don't need papers for things like that. Okay, so number 7 is more of a internal thing, but I just want to say that you are not your stuff. So what you own shouldn't define you. This is a vintage sign, and there's some old vintage decanters under it. Does that have anything to do with Bella as a human being? No, absolutely not. If all that stuff was gone tomorrow, would Bella as a human being be different? If this table was gone, if my furniture was gone, if my plants were gone, if my records were gone, if everything was gone, I would still be me. So what I want to tell you is that you don't need a lot of stuff to live a meaningful life. You can live a more meaningful life with less stuff. You will really start to appreciate the things that you do have, and you'll be more mindful about what you bring into your life. One thing that the KonMari method really did for me was, when I go shopping now, I might really appreciate something. I might think it's cute and cool and possibly useful, but I really examine, is there a place in my life for this, or is it going to create unnecessary clutter, and is it just going to be another one of those things that 5 years from now, when I have to do the KonMari method again because I've accumulated so much stuff, that I want to get rid of this. So number 8 was that you will have this sort of ties in, but you will have a wake-up call to what is necessary and what you think is necessary in your life. And my friend actually started a food pantry and is a social worker, and so she was helping the homeless in our community, because we have a really a growing homeless population. And I donated a lot of my stuff to her food pantry and to her homeless, basically, resources to give to them. And I was sitting there thinking, well, what would they need? Okay, what do you need if you live on the street? Okay, well, what do I take with me when I go camping? And I was thinking, well, I like to have something to cook with. I like to have a blanket to stay warm. I like to have shelter. Obviously, I like to have a tent. And I kind of like to have some, products to take care of myself, to brush my teeth, to wash my face. And I thought, well, that's all a human being really needs. And so I just started feeling almost guilty at the amount of money that I've spent on just crap and stuff. But I mean, at the same time, you have to have this wake-up call on your own. We live in an extremely consumer-based society where we are encouraged to buy all the time. Every time you get on your phone, there are ads that pop up for clothes or for gadgets or for shoes, and it's always a sale, and it's always limited time, and it's always pressuring you. So what I do, even when I go shopping now, is I have a running list on the Notes app of my phone, and if I have something on the Notes app for long enough, then I will buy it. But sometimes I put stuff on the Notes app and I look at it and then I take it off later, which means I didn't really want it to begin with. I just kind of thought that I wanted it. So you will gain a bigger awareness for the role of stuff in your life and the usefulness of stuff in your life. Okay. Number 9 is to thank your belongings. And I know this seems really cheesy and almost silly, but it's simply an act of gratitude. So when you thank something for being in your life, which is what in the book she asks you whenever you get rid of something, to thank it, basically, to say, you have been a good pen to me, but you're out of ink. And I appreciate everything that I wrote with you, but it's time for you to go in the trash. And then you let it go. I mean, that sounds so silly, but think about it. Okay, say you have a favorite blanket and say it's tattered and old and you have a memory of your mom covering you up with it and it smells so good, but it's just all ragged and you think, this has got to go. You can sit there with it for a second and really say, thank you for being in my life. I appreciate all the times you kept me warm, all the times that I remember my mom covering me up with you. Thank you, and then get rid of it. Now, this is sort of the emotional part of decluttering, and decluttering is emotional. If someone in your family has ever died, then you know that it is extremely difficult to remove the possessions from their house. A lot of times, families will get into arguments over stuff that's in a dead person's house, and the argument is not about the stuff. It's about the memories we associate with the stuff, the value we put on the stuff, the memories of, oh, those were grandmother's mixing bowls, and you know, you just want to donate them. You don't even care about them, and you see how we associate certain things with certain people. And going a little bit further, gratitude for your belongings is gratitude for your social status in life. We have everything, especially if you live in America. You have way more than what you need, and you know, a little gratitude really does go a long way, and I find that gratitude makes me a happier person, and I'm kind of an ornery person, if you can believe that. I tend to be pessimistic sometimes, and I think that gratitude is good for people like me because it allows me to sit down and really say, hey, I have this. Other people don't have this. I need to be grateful for this. So with that being said, thank your things before you get rid of them, and that can give you a little closure in the process. Okay, the last thing is the most important thing, and I saved this for last because this is really the last part of the KonMari method, and that is that getting rid of things in your life, physical things, allows you to get rid of other things in your life that you did not realize were cluttering your life. This can be people, this could be a job, this could be a routine, this could be a habit, this could be a coping mechanism that is no longer serving you, or it could be, you know, a guilty thing that you've had on your conscience that you need to let go. So by discarding physical possessions, your head is going to become clearer. What I did was I painted my room gray. I got rid of all the art on the wall. I got rid of most of my clothes. I made sure that that was my space, that nobody could bother me in. There is nothing in there to distract me. It is my space. And after that, I just felt like, you know what? I'm not really happy doing what I'm doing. Something has got to change. And I can't say that I was or wasn't feeling that way before decluttering, but decluttering made me realize you can't keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. For example, I can't have an unhealthy diet every single day and just eat chips and junk food and expect to have the physique that I want. It's just not possible. So you have to change your patterns and your actions. And that's really what KonMari did for me. I think it's been about 90 days, probably maybe even a little longer, since I read this book. And I really can say the book is not interesting. The book is boring. The book is about getting rid of your stuff and storing your books and papers and clothes and gadgets. The book is not profound, but what it forces you to do is to look at everything you've ever accumulated in your whole life. Just think about that. Think about how you have everything you've ever owned is here in your space, and it all has emotional ties to it. I mean, if you point to anything around here, I can probably tell you when I bought it, probably who I bought it with, about how much I paid for it, and you know, everything has an an energetic charge to it. Even, you know, the mugs and the cups that I'm drinking out of, I can remember when I found them. So just, you know, keep in mind that, and just realize that decluttering is an act of self-care, an act of love, and something that you can do that doesn't cost you any money. Maybe it costs you maybe $10 for this book, but it is a really valuable thing. Again, I'm Bella. I would really appreciate a thumbs up if you can, and comment below if you have tried the KonMari method or other methods of decluttering, and I would like to hear about that. And always, you know, really appreciate you guys watching these videos. This is a always experimental thing, and I never know really what I'm going to talk about until I know. So this is what I learned from the life-changing magic of tidying up.